Hey guys, welcome back to Melody Made Easy. Today we're going to be looking at how to make chords with melodies, and one really useful chord progression that I've used all the time and I know a lot of other people use. Quick shout out before I get started. I want to thank Rebecca Bierman for all your nice comments. I read all of them and they're all really nice, and I really appreciate your support, so thank you so much. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about, just to get this out of the way, is this song, Primadonna Girl. I'm just going to talk about the song structure because I like to get that out of the way. It's not related to the chords or anything, but essentially gets into the song really quick. She has 16 bars of an intro with a development. So you have this part. And she repeats that. And then she develops it. And then just like before, she's going to repeat it again. And then she goes into the first verse. So she has this nice, short, concise 16-bar intro, and it goes straight into the meat of the song, which has, verse, chorus, all that. So I'm going to talk about specifically this part right here, these 8 measures, and why I think they are great. It's a great thing to analyze, to learn about making chords. So before I spoil it, hold on one second. Alright, so we're going to just take a quick look at this melody right here, and I'm going to talk about it, but let me play it first. Alright, so real quick, there's a note missing right here, so I'm just going to... Alright, so just had to fix that real quick. Anyway, so I'm going to explain this melody and we're going to make chords for it. So there are already chords on the guitar for this song, but they're a little difficult to hear, and I'm not really thinking about them when I make chords for this. So what are we going to do first? What we're going to do first is we're just going to take the first note from each measure, and we're just going to write them out and see what we can learn from that. We're just going to duplicate this. Alright, so, because we can look from here and see, and then it repeats again. So, that's why I repeated, oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Alright, so anyway. Alright, so that sounds pretty good. So essentially, this melody is basically just these. We know that these are part of the chord based on this melody right here. And we can look at other notes in the melody to gauge what else is part of the chords. So she spends a lot of time on this A. So let's just throw an A in there. And because I do not expect there to be a D below this A. Now, why wouldn't this work? Well, because we have a C at the top, and having a D down here would be a little too close. And because if we can look at these notes, we don't really see too many accidentals other than F sharp, which is pretty common. We're going to assume that there's not going to be any D sharps, and because we know there's an F sharp, we're not going to want an F natural. So let's just use an E. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be that. And also, you can kind of hear it. You can kind of hear a key signature once you spend time in it. Alright, so that sounds pretty good. I'm just going to mute this A, actually, just for now. So now I'm going to make one for this one. So, alright, so we're going to talk about tension and release real quick and why this chord progression is a really good example of it. So as I've talked about in other videos, when you make melodies, it's really important to have a sense of tension and release. So this C is a tension, this is not a resolve. And then it kind of resolves down here, and then it goes back to the tension. and then it resolves on this E. So if we listen, tension, almost a resolve, tension, resolve. So if we notice, this is the main tension. It's also known as a 5, and then this is the 1. All right, so this is the tension comes to resolve. And the reason why this is a tension is because of this resolve. We notice that it's the same distance between this and this, and then this and this. This leads to this, and then this leads to this. So if you're making a song, you can say, okay, where is like the root of it, which in this song's case it's E, and you can figure this out from there. Also, the reason why I was talking about the importance of sixths is because this C is a sixth from this E, which is also part of this chord. So anyway, so knowing that this is 1, you have 1, 2, 3, wait, hold on, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 has such a huge pull, and it can last for this whole measure. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next one. So if we know that this is a tension, we want it to resolve here, are we going to have a C down here? That doesn't sound right. No, that's definitely not right. So let's try a D instead. The reason why I'm not trying an E is because just like where the D down here would have been too close to the C, and E here would be too close to this F sharp. So let's try this. Alright, that sounds a lot better. Alright, so now, because we want to make it a triad, we can have, most of the time when we're just starting out, you want to have like 3 notes per chord. That's a triad. So let's just throw an A there, see how that sounds. This is how a lot of people make chords. You experiment, you see if it works, if it doesn't. So just because I'm aware, I know this isn't gonna work. Alright, so why does this not work as well as this one? That sounds a lot better. Now why is that the case? You could the reason why this sounds better than this is because of the way we want to get to the E. So this chord sounds like it's trying to go here. That's a pull. This is a tension towards that, and that would be a resolve. This would be fine if it was shifted. If this was shifted over here, this would be fine. But it's too early. It's an entire measure too early. So we can't have that. We want tension, slight resolve, then another tension, then resolve. And because we're resolving on this E, it's an entire beat too early. It's entire measure too early. So what we want to do is not have this B here and move it down to A. Now it doesn't sound like, now this does not sound like it's pulling to this. Well, actually, you know what? All right, sorry about that. All right, so why doesn't that sound good? Well, because we're still a beat too early to resolve to this E minor chord, which would be, we're saving that for this measure. So what we want to do is instead make this E a D. And then we can just make, now we have this. That sounds like it's pulling towards this. And if we look at it, we know that if E is the tonic of the, it's the root. See, we can shift this up here. It's an E minor chord, but I'm moving the B down here. We can look at this. Whoops. So let's listen to the whole thing now. All right, good. I'm just checking with, because I already made like an answer for this, I wanted to go through the problem with you though, so I'm just making sure that, yep, I made it. All right, so I made it the same way twice. I just wanted to make sure with myself. You know, like when you're working with a math teacher and the math teacher works through the problem before showing the answer. That's kind of what I did. Like I already made what was the right answer there. So, and I wanted to go through it with you, and I wanted to make the chord again, make the chord progression again, so that we could see how it's right. Now, I want to, real quick before we finish up, I want to talk about potential other chords. So why wouldn't this one work? It sounds alright. It sounds alright, but that sounds better, and that's all you need to know. If it sounds good, if it sounds better, use it. But make sure that you listen to them back to back. That sounds good. There's still pull there, but this has a little more pull. All right, lots of tension and release. All right, sweet. Let's duplicate this, and I'm just gonna mute this. Sounds good to me. It seems like we did a good job making chorus for this song. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.